Welcome back to Take Action News. This is Daniel Marins, executive producer, guest hosting today because David Shuster is out on paternity leave. We are talking about the revelations by Edward Snowden, the NSA leaker, who revealed to Glenn Greenwald of The Guardian this past week that the United States government has seized basically all the phone records of all Americans and has the ability to cull them and their metadata, which means the times of their calls and the numbers of the folks that they're calling, and has been data mining the internet for people's electronic exchanges through a computer program called Prison, has also ordered many cyber attacks on hacking the records and internet records of foreign governments, people in foreign countries across the world. The leaker came forward this past week, revealing himself to be Edward Snowden, a 29-year-old contractor for NSA working through Booz Allen Hamilton. One of the folks that has been covering this issue and the constitutional, legal, and policy implications of it all, perhaps the best, perhaps almost better than anybody, is Marcy Wheeler. She's an independent journalist at emptywheel.net, joining us now on Take Action News. Marcy, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, Marcy, why should Americans care? Didn't we all vote for politicians who voted the Patriot Act into law? And doesn't the Patriot Act have Section 215 that specifies that the government can, for, quote, an authorized investigation, protect against international terrorism or clandestine intelligence activities, seize intelligence without a warrant or sort of conventional probable cause? Is this really news?
It's not news to some of us who've been following it, but it's news to most Americans that using the words relevant to an authorized investigation meant that every American in the country is relevant to terrorism investigations, which is basically the premise the government is functioning under. So that's how they collected all of our phone metadata, which is who we call, the phone numbers, how long, where we called from, which is one of the most revealing parts of those data. But we're all relevant to terrorism now, according to the government.
One of the things that you mention is, and of course that folks that are defending these programs mention, is that they were used to catch a terrorist or a suspected terrorist, an Afghan-American taxi driver from Colorado who apparently tried to bomb the New York City subway system, Najibullah Zazi. And yet you claim that, you point out that in that case, it also represented a case of government excess in terms of intelligence surveillance. What exactly do you mean?
There's really good reason to believe that 3 people were investigated as terrorists. They were actually entered into a court document as associates of Zazi, of a terrorist, simply for having some association with him, which could be attending the same mosque. They were from Colorado, and he didn't really even know anybody in Colorado, but somehow these 3 people got sucked up into this investigation, and more importantly, for buying beauty supplies. The chemicals he used to build the bomb, which were really dangerous. I mean, his bomb was dangerous. His plot was dangerous. Don't make any mistake about it. But the chemicals that he used are part of beauty supplies and cleaning supplies. And so what the FBI did was apparently develop a list of everybody in Colorado who had bought them in some volume, cross-reference it with any known association with Zazi, and list them on a court document as associates of him, even though they were completely innocent, it now appears, of any tie to terrorism.
And of course, that can disturb a person's life tremendously, to be accused of terrorism or targeted simply because you belong to a mosque or bought acetone, nail polish remover, in the course of your purchases. And I think that's what some people don't quite get, is that this could cause lasting professional harm and harm to your reputation. Marcy, we went a little bit late on last segment. Would you mind sticking around for a few more minutes after this break?
That's fine.
Okay. Marcy Wheeler, she's doing amazing stuff. Marcy, I'm going to ask you also, because you did some of the most amazing reporting on the case against Scooter Libby for leaking the identity of Valerie Plame Wilson. Of course, you wrote a book about it. The cavalierness with which the national security establishment treated that intelligence breach compared with this one is something that maybe is an interesting thing to broach. So I hope you'll be able to talk about that. We're going to cut to break in just a moment, but when Take Action News continues, we're going to continue our conversation with Marcy Wheeler. So stick around.